Hey, good morning, everybody. Or I guess it's afternoon now. It's a horribly windy day today, so it's a perfect day to melt some lead. I've been putting it off for a couple years now. I've got a pile of it stacked up, so I like to do it when it's windy outside because it blows all the fumes away from you. You don't have to worry about getting any of that stuff into your lungs because it's pretty toxic. So I'm going to do a little video on how to melt some lead and get some sinkers going for fishing. Jig heads, 3-pound sinkers, and try not to let my fire go out all the time. Damn it. New crab pot, or turkey cooker, I guess. I don't know how long it's going to last because it's got a 12-minute timer on the bottom of it, which is about the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen. Anyway, get my lead pot on here. My lead pot is a old cast iron, kind of like Dutch oven. Throw that thing on there. It's already got probably 100 pounds of lead in the bottom of it from the last pour, so we'll get that melting. We'll be constantly checking the temperature on it. You really don't want it to be smoking off. If it's smoking off, it's way too hot. So we'll just keep an eye on it. I've got a digital laser thermometer thing. I think it's like, you don't want it to get over 900 degrees. So I've got a ladle. I've got a pile of old sinkers that I don't use, and then I've got some shot and keel weights that I split in half. They're out of a sailboat. I cut them in half with the my log splitter. Got some other weights in there, and then what we don't make into jig heads and 3-pound leads, we will be putting in those ingots. So later on this winter, if I want to melt more, I can use my RCBS, or my Lee melting pot, a little electric one, and it'll do 20 pounds. I can put 20 pounds of lead in it, and then it'll trickle it out the bottom of it when it's hot enough. So anyway, let's get to it. Gotta go get some eye protection here. I got some gloves and some pliers and whatnot. So anyway, try and stay on the upwind side of this stuff. Alright, so finally got all the safety gear going here. Got my thermometer. So lead melts at 621 degrees, and you want to avoid anything over 900. So we'll try to keep her in this 7 to 750 degree range. Right now that pot's at 350 degrees. I added some more weights in there. All those, anything that's wire, swivels, whatnot, will all it'll either float or sink in the lead. Usually it floats up, and then you just skim it off as you go, and then we'll use the metal dipper there to dip it out, and we'll put whatever into those ingot molds, and then we'll pour some into those sinker and molds there, sinker and the jig head mold. I'll show you how to set those up. They are going to get extremely hot while doing this, so anyway, stand by and watch how it's done. I haven't done this in a while, so it should be interesting. So something to mention, it is cloudy outside. If it does start to rain, we're definitely shutting this off. Like, that is a huge no-no, is water and lead. It'll start popping. Hence the eyeglasses, and I'll be wearing gloves. This stuff will melt your face off. Like, in no time flat. So you got to be really cautious of this stuff. Alright, so with the ingot molds, we're going to take and clip on vice grips to them, because they are going to get ridiculously hot. You don't want to have to touch them. So put them upside down so you can actually tap your pans out. Lock them on good and tight. I wouldn't recommend using vice grips that have like rubber grips on them or whatnot. You can see I got welding gloves to keep from melting my hands on there. And these sinker molds, you see this little clip here, that's what your actual swivel or your line ties to. So you got to snap one of those inside there. The pliers that I have, after I pour this one time, it'll be so hot you won't be able to touch it. So you'll take and grab these with a pair of pliers and snap those into there, and you just close it up, and then you pour your lead into this hole right here. So you pour your lead into that hole. Sometimes you might want to heat these molds up depending on how cold it is outside. You'll start pouring and it'll fill up right here at the mouth because the lead will cool off too fast. So with the jig heads, the pour hole is on this side. So you're gonna want to put your hook on hook side up, same side as where you're gonna hook your line to. So you got to put that line piece in there, and then you also got to put your hook in there, and then you're gonna pour it opposite the way the hook point goes up. So if you put the hook around this side and the where you tie your line to is on this side, it ain't gonna work so hot. So hook, point, and the where you tie your line to in the same spot. So then you just pour it right into that hole there, and you'll be good to go. So now we wait on the lead to heat up enough to melt. And it's not moving yet, so we got a ways to go. Okay, so I went in and I had this ladle here. I poked some holes through it with a drill, and it's to help me clean off the impurities that come to the top. As you can see, the lead is starting to melt there. So the bottom of the pot is probably over 600. It's the top of the stuff is 4 something. So it'll heat up. It's gonna smoke with you know, obviously there's some stuff in there that's gonna smoke until it's gone. But once it's done smoking, that's not smoke from the lead, that's smoke from the impurities on top of it. So here soon, we'll scoop off the impurities on the top, the little metal pieces and whatnot, and then we'll start pouring some sinkers and ingots. I'm going to get a bucket to drop sinkers in and whatnot once we pull them out of the mold so they cool off real quick. Something to note, if you're going to melt or try to melt like other manufacturers, stuff you bought in the store, a lot of times it'll be high in zinc, I think. So it's super hard and it won't melt. I don't know what temperature it melts at, but I'm not willing to bring it up to that high of a temperature to melt it. So anyway, just food for thought. Okay, you can see that it's melting pretty good. Those are the impurities that are floating up. It's not hot enough to skim it yet, but it's getting close. You can see you can pull that stuff over, but it's not staying in the liquid form. So it's not quite hot enough yet to really get to skimming it good. All that smoke that's coming off of that is like any of the oils and whatnot that was on that lead. We'll keep messing with it here until it get to the point that I can skim that off, and then we'll see how it's. Once it's ready, it'll be super liquidy, like water almost. I can still feel chunks down there in the bottom, but see all this stuff at the top? That's all garbage. That's not gonna say that. That's part of an old sinker. Dump that right into the bucket. And just keep pulling that stuff off of there. Now it's right there, ready to pour. So let's try and pour some ingots first. So we'll put that ladle in there, and we'll get that ladle as hot as that lead. Otherwise, you can see it sticks to it, and it makes your ladle be like 300-400 pounds. It feels like. So you got to get that ladle good and hot. Which don't take long. Alright, let's see if I can pour some of this stuff. Alright. There's 4. Once the top hardens like that, you can stick it in water. If it ain't, if it's not hard and you put it in water, you're gonna have that lead all over your face. So these are 1 pound holes here for the lead. Or 1 pound ingots. Let's see if I can do this 3 pounder. Remember what I told you? It's not hot enough. So we'll heat this mold up. Probably have enough in there to make a 3-pounder. A little bit of water in that pan. See how this stuff can be so dangerous. I should have let it cook off a little bit more. We only got half a sinker, so I'll have to re-pour that. Not dump dirt in there, but I just mash that down onto there. Even though I dipped that in water, it's still super, super hot. So now, heat this up a little bit more around the edge. Get a good full scoop of lead here. There, all done. That's the pour. This is a tricky one because I got to do it one-handed and my wrist is terrible. There it is. Well, let's see what we got here. See if it's ready. It looks good, so we'll trim that off when it's ready, but we'll drop her in the bucket there and let it cool off. What this jig head looks like. It's hooked on the edge of that. Looks pretty damn good though. Just got to clear out that hole there, but it's ready to catch some lingcod. Alright, so with these jig heads and whatnot, get a pair of sidewash or dikes and just snip that off. And you just keep snipping along. It's not ever going to be perfect, but it's not a commercial operation, obviously. Plop all your stuff all your trimmings back into your melting pot. Then you do the same thing with your sinkers, trim them up. I mean, you can still take a little bit out of there, but it's a 24-ounce jig head that normally costs 15 bucks in the store or more. So now you're ready to go hook some big link on. So we didn't work at that very long at all. There's 40 pounds of ingots, 6 pounds of sinkers, and a 24-ounce jig head. It's pretty good for, I don't know, what, 10 minutes of pouring. But you can see the windscreen there. It's starting to rain. I don't want anything to do with that lead and water. At least not that way. Yeah, we'll follow up when we can get some more lead melted. We got, oh, I don't know, 400 pounds more lead there to go. I tried melting those downrigger balls. Well, this one. I tried melting that commercial one. It will not melt at all. The other ones are 10 pounders. We'll just keep them, run them if we have to. I don't go through very many out here. Where I tend to troll, it's not a lot of big rocks to catch your balls on, or you just keep it up off the bottom. So anyway, we'll get back at it soon. Here's why you have cat-like reflexes when you're melting lead. That chintzy Chinese crap burner couldn't handle some weight, so it folded. I don't know how much weight was in there. It's probably way too much, but whatever. Guess we're done for a while until I get a new boiler. I found one the other day, though. It's heavy duty. It'll hold the weight, so I'll let that stuff cool off and get her picked up, and we'll hose it off and try and break it into pieces so I can get it cleaned up real good so I can remelt it. I guess that'll be the end of this video. So hopefully you like. I wish I would have had it going when I put that last piece of lead in there. You guys would have liked that. Anyway, if you liked the video and you want to learn some more about it, let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.